It's that Monday. Talk your barber shit. So I'm gonna let IG do what it do. Keep on sending out the notifications. Let everybody know that we going live. So just sit back, wait, because I got a special guest tuning in today. Share his journey, share his growth, share education, share finance, all the lovely things that we love to talk about in our industry. Beauty, barbering, everything on the platform. Let's go. I know it's that Monday. Everybody getting it in, coming off of a good, wonderful weekend. I know what it is. I know what it's all about. That Monday grind. So that's why we here today. Uplift, showcase, speak on it. You know what it is. Talk your barber shit. Okay, I see somebody tuning in. Cool look professional. I see you. You got my boy V Hugo Styles joining us shortly. He's gonna be on here and we're gonna talk about it. You guys already know what it is. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to conversation. So I see you, Hugo. I saw you try to log in. So let me see you the notification again. All right, should be all good. Should be ready to log in.
There we go.
I had to put on that don't disturb us while we in our conversation mode.
Let, let me sw- All right.
All right.
We good?
So you did the same thing. I think once you click down that link, it tunes out the voice. So I didn't know if you were saying anything to me.
Now, are we clear? I put the airplane mode on.
Oh, okay, yeah, we clear. I can see you really good. Can you hear me? Can you see me really
I
well?
can.
Okay.
I can.
How you
I'm
doing?
doing great, bro. Good afternoon. How's everything
It's
going?
going well, man. I just want to say first off, I appreciate you jumping on my live. I see all the wonderful things that you do on your page. I got a chance to check you out in Las Vegas, so to have you on my platform and to chop it up with you and just dig into your world a little bit more, it's something awesome. So I appreciate you taking your time out to sit with me.
Nah, for sure, man. Hey, anything that I could do to help the industry grow and elevate to that next level, and anyone who really wants to take it to the next level, that's what I'm
Yeah,
about, man. I'm a very focused and ambitious person
I
with a
see that.
purpose. So very happy to be here on this platform. Thank you for this,
All
bro.
right, so Victor, you go by V Hugo Styles. How did that name get started? Where did it come from? And why did you stick with it?
So my name is Victor Hugo Lopez.
Yeah.
Victor Hugo, though, was a name that my dad chose for me because I don't know if anyone here knows, Victor Hugo is an author. He wrote The Hunchback of Notre
Yeah.
Dame. He was
Yeah.
also a philanthropist. And I think he chose that for power, right? For motivation. And that's something that I was very conscious of since I was a little kid and I knew what my name meant. On
Yeah.
top of Victor meaning winner. victorious, the victor, you know, a person that no matter what is in front of them will always conquer.
Yeah.
So a very powerful name. And then me finding out that I loved hair, I loved style, fashion, V. Hugo Styles was the name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, I want to, dive in a little bit more, but I like to dive into the beginning. And you already shared that a little bit, but let's go into like what your father was someone in your family a part of this industry, or did you just branch out on your own and saw something that really captivated you and say, "Hey, I really want to jump into this industry"?
So what no one in my family does hair.
Yeah,
I'm first generation born Colombian American here in the United States. My mom, my dad, my sisters, my whole family immigrated from Colombia here. So people understand in Colombia 40 years ago, Medellin, my family's from,
yeah,
very very dangerous, a lot of crime, and really no real way to make a living. Even if you go to college and you have, a degree, a master's, if you're a doctor, even to this day, people are professionals in Colombia, uh, dentists, orthodontists, and they're still not making enough to be able to live a decent living.
yeah,
So they have to work that plus another job and multiple hours to be able to like maintain a decent living. Again, not owning a car, just living in a semi decent area and eating day to day. Like out there, there's corner stores in every corner where there's the vegetable store, the butcher, the place where you get household items, everything. So everything's right there, and everyone buys per day. That's how poor it is out there. So understanding where my parents came from and where we are, and me growing up so close to the Colombian culture and seeing almost all my family after that immigrate here, whether it was legally or illegally,
mhm,
to make a better living, and to see how hard my dad and my mom worked in the factory when factories existed here in the United States. Uh, I saw the work ethic, and I saw the sacrifices that they needed in order to be able to have a good life, right?
correct.
And his vision for me was like, okay, if I'm working hard as a manager in a factory and I'm making a decent living, yes, I don't have a quality of life because I'm working 80 hours a week plus, but I am able to support my family. If I pay for my kid's school to do private school and he goes to college and graduates from college, he'll live better than I
Yeah,
can. And
yeah,
that was the mentality that my dad had coming here, right? And I'm very grateful for him paying for my private school from kindergarten to to freshman year in high school. Private Catholic school from kindergarten freshman year. It helped shape who I am as a person, and me mentally, how prepared I am for anything that happens. The education was really good. So my reading, my writing, my public speaking, everything was being practiced on since I was like in fifth grade.
yeah,
So it helped for me to be here, but he was trying to live his vision through me. I knew in seventh grade that I wanted to do hair. I started watching MTV and BET, watching the music videos, and I saw the hairstyles, all the style that, and the different fashion that all these artists had. And I felt like I wanted to be the person behind the scenes getting these people ready for this, whether it's their hair, their wardrobe, whatever it was. Uh, so fast forward, I didn't get my license and I didn't graduate high school because I was just rebelling against everything.
yeah,
Rebelling against my dad trying to make me go this way when I knew I wanted to go this way. So I
right.
started working in the hood at a barber shop that didn't require a license.
Yeah,
And that was my way in to start barbering. And I loved it because this is what I wanted to do. And I was such a student of the game that I was able to see everything that was going on and look at the barbers that been doing it for a minute and learn from them quickly. I was like 16 years old working at a barbershop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was slow, but I was using that time to see and analyze all the movements, all the reasons, and the end results of every technique that each barber was doing for that particular hairstyle. So I was very blessed in a way to have been directed in a way for so long,
Mm-hmm.
but then redirecting myself to fall into the path that I needed to be on. Because if you're not passionate, you won't take things to the next level.
Not at all.
You know what I mean? But if you're passionate, no matter who's against you, you'll be able to take it there no matter what because you believe in it so hard, you're willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen.
Right. I love that. I love that background. I love what you shared. Um, it's funny because everybody that I had on my channel before and prior to you, all our stories sound the same. It's we have that that upbringing. We see what our parents went through. We see what we want and what we challenge in ourselves to go after. But we have the little hiccup moments in the middle. But once we realize that, okay, it's time to stop playing around. It's time to go get it. Then we start moving past the bull and start eliminating all the negative stuff that's in our way to go get it. So, and your story is not too, far from mine. I felt the same way. I looked at TV shows. I looked at Martin. I looked at Fresh Prince. I looked at Cross Colors. I looked at Carl Kanai. I looked at all that stuff that made me say, okay, I want to be a fashion designer. That's something I did before I even got into this industry. Then, when I started learning and loving the styles of hair, I was like, man, I want to go over to that field as well. So to hear your journey and stuff like that, it hits home. Um, what was a pinnacle point in your life when doing everything that you was doing and knowing that this is what you wanted, this is what you're striving for? What was those X factors that you placed upon yourself when you was like, maybe this is not what I was supposed to be doing? Maybe if that opportunity come, I might fail at it. How did you maneuver yourself from all that negativity to keep pushing forward?
Ooh, that's that's uh, that's a good question. So I felt like everyone was against me doing what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, always.
Yeah,
And I, I grew up, like I told you, around immigrant parents that no matter how hard they went, they couldn't succeed.
yeah,
So there's right, wrong people in everyone's lives.
yeah,
And right, wrong meaning like the right person, the right character, like a mom, a dad, a brother, a wife.
yeah,
Those are the right, but could possibly be the wrong person to share dreams with
yeah,
because their past experiences could be very limited or very depressing to where now they're going to advise you to not reach as high as you can
correct.
mentally, right?
Yeah,
One of the things that I knew from the beginning was I wanted to be wealthy. I wanted to live a good life. I didn't think you needed to struggle
yeah,
your whole life. I didn't think just I believe because I saw it. I went to school with kids that their parents were wealthy. I wasn't wealthy. I was in school with wealthy people, but they were pulling up in brand new BMWs, Mercedes, and I was pulling up in an old
yeah,
20-year-old Chevy with the rag on the roof hanging on my head. You know what I mean? Like, so I was able to see both sides of this coin, both sides of what America could be, and both sides of life, right? Here, we could choose to sacrifice and work hard and make a plan with an allotted amount of time to reach that goal and make it work, or we could dream and just think about it and not do anything and just want it.
yeah,
One of the things that I know gets in the way of immigrants is the language barrier, and they won't practice it because they don't want to sound stupid to an American trying to talk English. I know for a fact. But then in my head, I would see the Spanish person with that kind of ego and that barrier in front of them. But then I would see an American trying to learn Spanish, and they're talking and sounding crazy, and they don't give a fuck. They're laughing, they're enjoying it, but they're learning.
Yeah.
And they're able to grow because they're embracing that it is hard. They don't care if people think they're weird for trying to learn a language that isn't theirs. They want to learn what they want to learn.
Yeah.
Sometimes our own egos get in the way of us getting to where we want to get to, and our beliefs. And sometimes if you communicate your dreams with someone like that, that can be a mother, a father, a brother, a wife, a girlfriend, if they have enough influence on you, they'll make you tear your dream apart, and you'll never be happy.
Yeah.
I'd rather try and live it and see if I made it or not than be in a mediocre situation that stays consistent forever and wonder if it could have happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd rather be here doing this, bro. Like, I don't want to have a cap on myself. I don't want to have someone telling me how high I could grow or what I can apply for or what I need to do, because we all have brains, we all have tools, and we all have resources to be able to make ourselves smarter, stronger, and better to get the positions that we want to get to in life. And that's the whole thing, and that's where we are in America. And I feel like this is why I'm so persistent. On top of me, I've been out of prison for 10 years. I was in federal prison for 4.5 years 10 years ago. I was already barbering, and I was living good because I was cutting hair and selling a shit ton of drugs while I was doing my thing. You know what I mean? So I was making money on money, and I was out here killing it. When everything got stripped from me, and I that's the crossroad. That's the crossroad that made me understand what road to take and what to value.
Yeah.
Before that crossroad, I was valuing money. I was valuing being out all night. I was valuing my friends, quote unquote friends. I was valuing a party life. I was giving value to the things that don't create a solid foundation.
Correct.
What creates a solid foundation is loyalty, a small circle, and educated individuals that have the same vision to come together and create something big.
Facts.
That's the value. That's where happiness is. That's where you live success daily. Because success, this is crazy. We were talking about this earlier. I just did a class at an academy, barber academy out here. And we were talking about success. There is no one reaches success. You live success.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you, just because you made $1 million doesn't mean you're successful. Because most of the time when the millionaire gets to $1 million, he wants to figure out how to make 5 million.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like success is actually the work you put behind the goals and then conquering them.
Mm.
And then mapping out how to make it even bigger. Success is a constant feeding. Like, we have to keep feeding ourselves good food. We have to keep ourselves going to the gym to maintain strength. We have to maintain our education and our mental by allotting time to mentally be spiritually connected with yourself, also learn new things, and at the same time, hobbies to keep your soul still alive, because it can't be work, it can't be family time and no you time. There has to be a balance in everything.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's the whole beauty about creating and going after something that you truly love, because then you're able to plot and plan and go that extra mile, because this isn't work. Me being here on my day off, you being there on your day off, this isn't work, man. I'm chilling. I'm loving this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we're elevating together. We're two people that right now we're radiating positivity and helping other people that might not be there get there.
Right. Um, Man, as far as everything that you said, like I love the fact that you talk about your culture, your home, your family. Um, that resonates with me to the core because my father's from Belize, my mom is American. I saw the things that you were sharing me growing up as well. I went to private school. I didn't have a lot. I caught the bus every day to school, saw everybody coming up, especially, out here in Los Angeles, California, especially when you go to private school. A lot of people are more fortunate to have a lot more stuff. And it comes a little bit quicker for them to someone that might be in the inner city and, has to go through the struggles a little bit harder. So when you said all that, that definitely hit home. Definitely finding your core of what you truly love and what you're passionate about. And then, like you said, sharing it with people that you're very close with. And it might be like so strong to you, to your core, where you just like, you visual it, you see it, and you going for it. And you show them or you tell them, they be like, yeah, that sounds cool. But what's your next goal? What is, if this doesn't work out, do you have something in that basket that, I love that you have a dream, and I want you to be passionate about that dream. But if it fails, what are you gonna do next? And it was certain things that I was very creative with, where I design and I put stuff out, and my mom would be like, "That's cool, yeah, it's okay." And then I would get frustrated with her, and I'd be like, "But somebody else, they gonna like it. They buying it." And but I wanted her to feel the same way I felt when I was designing it and creating it, and I wanted her to give me the same value that I was feeling. And it wasn't like she was being harsh or negative. It was just like she just said, you know, yeah, that's fine, that's cool, but kind of think a little bit more out the box. How can you take it to the next level? You know, if this is something that you're passionate about, don't stick in this realm too closely. You know, see what else possibilities that you could do, and then I would make certain clothes that maybe will be like very like seductive and way out there. And then she'd be like, I don't know if I see anybody really wearing that. And then I'll be like, well, somebody's gonna wear it. I see a lot of women nowadays, the way they dress, they will. And then she'd be like, I don't know, like, you really, do you see this like being sold and somebody wearing it? And then her and my dad now today, they would like look at TV and watch certain like shows where the people are walking down the red carpet, and she'd be like, that dress that you drew or you was thinking about, I seen that same dress on this girl that was wearing it the other day. So it's funny to have those kind of conversations with my mom and my dad today. But everything that you were saying, I definitely understand, and I definitely know where you're coming from with that. Um, you know, like you said, you had to do things to help elevate. You had a different lifestyle, but you also still love barbering. And I see a lot of conversations that's being had, especially on social media, is that some barbers say you shouldn't have two occupations. You should just have one. If you want to be in the beauty industry or you want to be a barber, everything should be you working at the barber shop, never leaving the barber shop, be in there all day and all night so you can make that revenue and that income and you can gradually grow. For those that are coming out of school, coming into the world, of hairstyle and being at the shop, trying to elevate, trying to grow, what would you tell them if they said, man, I might need a second income to help me sustain while I'm at the barber shop? Or do you think like like others say, no, you don't need to be having a second job. You don't need another career. Your career is the hair industry. It should be barbering. That's all you should do. What would you say about that?
So, I mean, I think every situation's different. Like, if you have kids, obviously you need to make some money because you got mouths to feed. The one thing I do know is, and I never gave myself another option after I came home from prison. I had two options. I was either going to be the next Pablo Escobar
Right.
or I was going to be the nastiest barber out here.
Right.
Those were the two options that I had. I loved both when I was going through it. and I was very passionate. I took it to that level. But when you want to grow in something that you're passionate about, you need to give yourself the time to be able to focus just on that and give yourself the time to really be able to succeed. One of the things about social media is that the come up can be shown very quickly from a sweet, especially from a sweet. Don't think because people are creating content once every day or multiple times a day that they're making a shit ton of money, because that's not true. Right. I know a lot of influencers that have 100,000, 200,000 that say they're charging $100, $200, and they are. But how many people are sitting in their chair a week? And why? How the hell do you have that much time to create that much content and that great content? Yeah. That's like studio quality content. Yeah. So the understanding the math, either you're cutting like 5 people a day, charging 200 to make 1,000 a day, or you're charging, you got to be charging numbers like that to give yourself, and even 10 clients, 5 clients, if you do at that time, you need to at least dedicate an hour and a half. That's 8 hours. And you still need you time, and you still need to have the clarity of mind to create the content, plan it, shoot it, edit it, all that. A lot of people on social media show instant success. Like they started barbering a year ago, and now they're making over 100 grand. That's not true. There's a process to everything. First of all, before you even start creating content, you need to be a master of everything. Right. You need to be a master of the trade in general, because this is the reality. Like, to be an influencer, and then when you become an influencer, companies reach out. They're going to put you on stages to reproduce what you're showing on social media. Right. I've ran into so many educators with a shit ton of following, hit the stage for the first time. They understood how to do a haircut, maybe not under the type of pressure on a stage and on time, and with a 30-minute time period. Yeah. Explaining the haircut, explaining the product, and making sure that haircut looks fire. Yeah. Or some people are just using technology to polish up their haircuts, and then what they're doing in person doesn't match up with what they've been promoting on their social media. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's different things that confuse young people coming out of school, thinking that it's easy to come up and thinking that there's no structure. There's a structure. The first thing is you need to be a student to the game and know hair to the fullest. This is one thing that I'm blessed and love about being Latino. When you think about a Latino, you think about my hair, you think about loose, wavy hair, you think about tight, curly hair, you think about hair like yours, real coarse and real dense, and then you think about afros. We have every single curl, texture, density, head shape possible. So as a Spanish barber, you're already exposed to having to work with different styles and textures. While other people that aren't cultural, like regular Americans or African Americans normally stick to African American clients. Yeah. White Caucasians stick to Caucasians. Spanish, you got to know everything. And I think this is where the pivot point in barbering and making money is. Being versatile keeps the chair full at all times. When you're a specialist in just coarse hair, you got to wait for coarse haired people to sit in your chair and walk through your shop. And if someone walks in that doesn't have coarse hair, everybody's jetting to the break room, sweating balls because they don't want to even touch that. Right. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So versatility and understanding everything about hair is what gets you to the next level. Right. It's not just fading, sharp edging, and enhancing, and ash lines like everyone likes to show on social media right now. There's a few barbers right now that are showing versatility in hairstyling. Yeah. And that's where the industry needs to go. This is how barbershops need to be ran. versatility in all aspects. If you're a smart business person, you want your people at your establishment to be able to conquer anything with all the confidence in the world. Whether it's a perm, a highlight, a long layered haircut with a curtain, or a skin tight fade with the sharpest enhanced airbrushed hairline with the sharpest faded beard. You need all that skill sets within the people in your shop. So that's the whole thing. That's where that in itself, getting to that level where you're a master of every single hair type, every single hairstyle and design, and know the whys to every single tool that you're using. Why this side of the comb that's tighter versus the other side of the comb that's more spaced out? Why am I using this and for what? Why is there the hot option and levels of heat in a blow dryer? And why is there a potency option and levels to the and why is there a little trigger looking thing that blasts cold air when I hit them with it? Like, why is that there? There's a reason for that. You just got to know why, so you could create your art, because every single tool that is made for us to use has a reason.
You're right.
The shape and the length of a shear and the teeth inside thinning shears have a purpose. That's why there's different thinning shears with different amount of teeth, different patterns in the teeth, because every single one creates something different. So when you master all this, yeah, that's when things change. And that's when you start being able to reach levels and getting to where you want to get to. Everything up until then, this is practice. We're in the trenches and we ain't make it yet.
Yeah.
Even if you're nasty at fading and doing beards, you're not out of the trenches yet until you dominate everything. Yeah. And you're not going to be complete, and you're not going to be a successful and eat and breathe success long-term into your career if you don't, because let's say you don't want to continue cutting hair one day. Mm-hmm. All these skill sets is what's going to give you the knowledge to know who to hire and what to include in their skill sets to be able to build a business where the employee can feel successful and the client walking in, no matter who he is going to feel happy.
Facts.
So you see, starting it correctly with the right steps, taking your time, not trying to jump and skip so you could ingest everything so it makes sense in a timely fashion. Everything takes time. And there's a step. Go to school. While you're in school, do your shit right. No perms. Right now, I remember going to school. I hated perms. Right. I was in the school today, and they hate doing perms too. And guess what? No one does perms around here. And I got all these Caucasian kids out here that have straight hair, paying $190 for a friggin' for a roller set. $190 for short hair like this, because no other barbershop or salon offers it. Chicks don't want to do it because it stinks. But it really only takes 20 minutes to put it on, apply the product, and then another 20 minutes to develop, and you made $200 because it's something that you ignored in cosmetology school when you first started. So, you know.
Man, you own it today. I love it. What I was about to say, because I was just thinking about this earlier, it might not flow in the same concept of what you were saying, but when you said mastering and learning and being crafty about what you're trying to deliver in our industry and making sure that you take the time to do it well. It's a lot of people that I, especially growing up, that always spoke about that they're knowledgeable of everything, but then they're not a master at none. You know what I mean? Like, I can do that. I can paint that. Oh, I can draw that. Oh, I can create that. But they never took it to the next level to make it work. You have all these gifts in you that God placed you with, but you never took the time to figure it out and master it. You just became knowledgeable of everything. Like, I'm knowledgeable of knowing the Bible inside and out. I'm knowledgeable about, doing this and doing that, but then you never took the time to master it. And I love that you shared that and you spoke on that. Like, we in the industry that you can capitalize on everything if you open up your book and learn from the front to the back, that you can make a lot of money if you just understand all the layers of what's being showed in that book. But like you said, people go, okay, I just want to be a barber and I just want to cut, like you said, my generation or my culture. I just want to cut black hair, or I just want to cut white hair. But then somebody that comes into your shop and say, "Hey, can you cut my hair?" You be like you said, they'll run off. For me, when I went to a school dominantly that had nothing but all straight hair. So I would definitely want to do, because I feel like, all right, I'm already cutting my friend's hair. I know how I cut my hair, I cut their hair. But if I get into the shop, what else is going to challenge me? What else at that point I might be afraid of? But
You know what's
if I can,
you know what's funny that you mentioned this big, but go ahead because this is awesome. We're about to blow the lid off of something in cosmetology school that I don't think people understand isn't there. But okay, go ahead.
yeah, like I made sure that I wanted to be knowledgeable, but I want to master it in due time. That I feel like right now I'm there, but I'm not all the way there. And that's the reason why I loved your page, because you show all diversity of hair. And that's where I want to be. In my setting of being a barber and a hairstylist, I want to master it all. And I am in school. I'm in school right now for my cosmetology. I want to have that layer as well on top of my barbering. When I went and took my barbering test, I passed it out the gate. My Cosmo, I took my test 2 times. I haven't passed it, but I'm still on my grind. I'm still on my study mode. I'm still going. I'm gonna get it. My third test is coming up soon, and I know I'm ready. But it definitely felt like it was so much more in the Cosmo that it wasn't as much that I thought of in barbering. But when I opened up my barbering book, I was like, okay, some of the same layers are there, but I really didn't have to hone in on that as much now in Cosmo. It's like it's opened up a whole different world to me. So when people come to my shop that I work at, that come in with straight hair, I'm like, hey, sit in my chair. Some people are like, they sit back, they don't say nothing. But as soon as I see them come in, I'm like, hey, can I get a cut? Hey, come sit in my chair. And I make sure that I studied so much with the scissors, the shears, everything to master that, where if they get up and they go, yeah, I love what you did. You did a great job. To me, I might look at it and I like, okay, I could have did a little bit better. But for them to say, hey, no, this came out perfectly. You did a great job. And steady come back makes me know that my time and my mastering is elevated. What was you about to say? I know you wanted to share something.
So it's crazy because you have coarse hair. When you go to school, you said you were working on straight hair.
Yeah,
When I went to school, they never talked about cutting afros or doing anything with this type of hair. And there's women with very long curly hair, whether it's tight or coarse, whatever. They never shed education on that, and that's kind of crazy. That's a void that should be filled in education because not I only know like two, three educators that touch curly hair and afro hair and how to dye it, how to do balayages on it, the techniques, and how different everything is with coarse hair because of the porosity versus straight hair.
correct.
You know, so that's crazy. And I do see, and now that you talk, I see more African American people working on straight hair than I see white people working on coarse hair.
Yeah,
But I think it's because of the school that you have to go into. You're working with straight hair.
yeah,
That's crazy to
yeah.
think about.
Yeah, that's honestly true. Like if you like I said, me being in Los Angeles, if you go anywhere more like South Central area, that more dominant, more black culture in that area, they'll focus on more of the sheer work and learning how to cut certain hairstyles with the fro and using detachables. Yeah, detachables and learn how to shift it with using the clippers where you're not digging into it, but you're shaping it and stuff like that. So um, for me, like I said, when I found the school that I felt like fit me, like I wanted to make sure that it was something that took me outside of the box that I was already used to. So that's why I went to a school that I knew, like, a lot of Filipinos, a lot of whites, a lot of Asians was gonna come in there, and then I could, learn how to, shift my skill and my thinking when it came to barbering. Uh, I see right behind you, elevate, and and that's something that I definitely wanted to present and give when it came to my platform as far as this podcast talk your barber shit. It's all about elevation, and when I say talk your shit is pretty much what you're doing, speaking on the growth factor of what you see and what you've been able to conquer and still push out there with you and your platform, and you going to schools and sitting with the students and teaching them and sharing them your story and how to keep moving forward and elevate in their environment, in their circle. Um, what is it that for what you're doing now and where you at now, what keeps you on the same platform and that same wording on the back that keeps you elevating every day?
So living success daily, right? This is I don't wake up every morning super pumped. There's some mornings like everyone that you're just like feeling a little down, a little sluggish. But I think elevating in success, it's a lifestyle because it's something that has to come from within and has to be around you constantly with what you're looking at, with what you're feeling, with what you're hearing. Everything has to be a recipe and a synchronization to keep yourself living success daily. So going to the gym, eating the right things so you're functioning better. Like we look at a lot of things, and I've been 8 months without drinking. I never gave myself an opportunity, and I wasn't an alcoholic by any means, guys. But I would drink socially on the weekends. I'd start Saturday to go out to the clubs. I definitely respect my work days and work hours. But when it was free time, it was free time. And for me, free time was like no work. Let's get messed up.
Right.
And I enjoy that. And I enjoy it with everyone who's doing it at the moment.
Right.
The thing that I wasn't understanding when I was doing it is, okay, yeah, that's cool to have fun at night if the consequences wasn't being hung over and you being in bed until 4 in the afternoon and then feeling like death 2 days, 3 days after that, trying to recuperate yourself. And then you finally recuperate Thursday and you get yourself right Friday, and then Saturday hits. You only really had one day of clarity throughout your whole week to think clearly with energy, with your purpose in a timely manner to conquer the goals as quickly as you can. Correct. I'm not saying being a workhorse is good, and I'm not saying drinking socially is bad. What I'm saying is that if you can do anything that's going to free up time and give you and ease you from stress, ease you from anxiety, and you have the right people where even if you're recreationally out, you could talk about building.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Because think about it. If you're with homies and you guys are all not drinking, you guys are all not smoking, you guys are barbers, we could be out golfing or playing ball and we're brainstorming while we're playing each other, breaking each other's ankles about what the next move is to take over.
Yeah.
But you need to be okay on your free time. You need to feel good. You need to feel healthy, and you need to have space and also peace mentally with your family too. So like, they say happy wife, happy life. I used to laugh at that shit, right? But it's a reality. Once you get to that point and you're married, your significant other plays a big role in how you leave the house, act and concrete.
Yeah.
If you have a dysfunctional relationship where you wake up and you're screaming at each other, you can't get along, things aren't in order, uh, and you don't get to shower correctly, you don't get to eat your breakfast in peace, you get indigestion while you're friggin' working, you got to take a dump midday because you didn't give yourself the time to do all this. If you had the peace and the space and the allotted time for everything.
Correct.
So it's like success isn't just work hard and go. No, success has steps. First is learning and polishing and mastering the craft. Second is with the connections you built while you were polishing and mastering that craft. These people are the ones that saw you grow and became a fan and now believe that since you were here and now they see you here, now they believe that whatever you say you're going to do. So now you got people that could potentially be investors, if not financially, at least morally, into your brand.
Correct. Yeah. Thanks.
So then you got these people now that you've been focused on trying to master and learn and be the best barber for each client that walks in. You have a shit ton of people after 4 years that believe in you and will give a live review of how great you are, and you've been polishing. Now you don't know who of your clients or who that's following you while you've been recording this on social media is going to recommend you to the director of education of an American Crew, a JRL, a hair skiing. You don't look for this shit. This shit comes to you because you're looking to better yourself. And then once you're shining, that's when people got to start putting their sunglasses on to try to get closer to analyze and see and be like, no, I need you. I need you. You're too bright right now. Let me keep these sunglasses on real close. I need you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You need to make yourself shine bright first and always. There's 4 P's: personality, preparation, punctuality. Cruz, what's the other one? Preparation, punctuality, personality. I forgot the other one, but those are the 4.
All right.
There's 4 P's, and those 4 P's is what designs you to be the best person ever. If you prepare knowing there's going to be an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what you need to acquire to be prepared, you're going to sacrifice to acquire those skill sets. And you're going to wait your time until that opportunity comes. Once that opportunity comes, now you have all the ammo, all the different types of guns, whether it's a rocket launcher, a pistol for close range, you got that all on your back, and you're strong enough to handle those and shuffle through all that and pull it out whenever is needed. Whether you need to be on stage to cut long hair with shears or a feather razor, bang, you got it. That's your RPG. If you need to do an urban haircut with a Caesar sharp hairline with an airbrush, that's your little pistol for close range, because you know how to go in there in all different angles and in all different positions.
One thing I'd like to speak on as well on my platform, and it's definitely about it can hit all home in all areas. We got our elders, and then we got the young ones that's coming in the game, and they speak on a certain aspect of what they feel, what they value as far as being in this industry, and then we have our elders that speak on what the industry should have still carried forward, or what is being missed or not being evaluated as much now. Customer service, understanding the value of the barbershop itself, the overhead as far as being a team, sharing information about the barbershop, because everybody feels like they're an individual now within the barbershop, so they don't speak on the barbershop, they speak on themselves, or sometimes they take outside appointments instead of taking appointments inside the shop. As you being a owner, and carrying a lot of responsibilities on yourself for yourself and your crew. What is it that you see that you feel like you would like to share a lot more, or um, things that you feel like is being missed now, especially on social media? Because we have everybody saying the sweet life is better than working at a barbershop. Then we have the owner saying you're missing out on a lot of opportunities. Speak on it. Let's talk.
Yo, listen, I think suites are a great stepping stone for those that need to be pressured into knowing how to run a barbershop. Suites are not designed for walk-ins. Suites are designed for established professionals that have a good amount of clientele and that know how to keep growing it, right? Because people get bored. You could have a client for 3 years and you got too busy. He went and tried someone else. You just lost him. You know what I mean? Or someone dies, someone relocates, whatever. Suites could be the death of people, not only because of that, but also because you're in there alone, bro. So clients, if you don't have a vibe, if you're not living daily success, people want to go to someone that stays motivated and that has a great conversation and also produces a good haircut. It's not about how great you are at cutting hair, it's more about your vibe. As long as you concentrate on the certain details that every client has, you're good. Like in a haircut, there's something in particular that the clients always like very anal about. They might not care about the fade, but they might care about how sharp the front hairline is. They might not care about the rest of their beard, but they might care about how sharp and how thin and how taken down their mustache is. They might want this shape and hairstyle, but they want their eyebrows in a certain shape.
Yeah.
There's certain things that in the consultation you kind of pull out of them, and if you nail that, you don't need to really focus on anything else. You don't need to be the greatest barber. You just need to be a great listener to make people come back, and you need to be able to talk the right things to keep them motivated. And obviously, give the best haircut you could get, but that is the recipe to be booked up, right? If you don't have that, and you're in a suite, and you don't have a person that you don't have an outspoken personality to talk about new things, help motivate the client if he's going through something, or just make clients laugh because they want to just bullshit, you're going to lose clients in a suite. The suites, you can't even really go crazy designing the interior because there's limitations. So really, you're going into a room that's pre-designed with a small space. You got to do your own marketing on social media, which normally people are doing nowadays, right? But that doesn't necessarily, just because you're active on social media doesn't mean that there's people knocking down your door to get a haircut by you. You know what I mean? Like, Instagram is dope, but just because I have this following doesn't mean I'm booked up. And
Let 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 me ask you this. I like the direction you go in there. Let me ask you this. Say it's someone that loves being in the barbershop. Like, he grew up in a barbershop and he just like, man, this is what I feel like the industry is about. But then you have an owner and then you have a crew that doesn't elevate the barbershop. You don't have an owner that's instilling in you how to grow, how to maneuver, how to deal with your customers, how to speak the lingo and all this other stuff. But eventually, in the long run, showing you the possibility of maybe one day you can own a barbershop. But then you have, you know, the environment of people that work in the shop that says, I'm my own boss. I don't I pay rent. I pay booth rent here, so I don't really need to listen to what they're doing. I can come in here high. I can come in here halfway drunk. I can come in whatever hours I want to come in and do what I do. Do one cut, two cuts here. I can stay as late as I want. The hours are from this time to this time, but I'd rather come in at this time to do my time and do what I got to do. How, from a standpoint of the the barber that wants to be in the shop and loves the environment, loves the area, but the shop is bringing him down. and then the owner's bringing them down. But his next best option is to get a suite, but he doesn't want to get a suite.
You know, broski. So this is awesome that you said this, because these are the voids that are missing in barbershops, right? So if you're coming out of school and you want to go to a rental shop, when you look at rental and a shop, normally is established by a barber that is pretty booked out and doesn't want to pay for overhead. So each station kind of gives just enough to pay for the rent and to pay for utilities. So if he wanted to, let's say, market the shop, he'd have to pull money out of the money that he's making himself for him to add into marketing. Mm-hmm. If he wants to do any additions to make the place look better, or maybe to give complimentary beers or snacks, he's got to dip into his pocket of profit. That's his work and his labor to be able to make that happen, because the rent of everybody else in there is only covering rent and some of the utilities. If a new barber coming out of school is expecting to learn not only from the barber, but other outside educators that the owner, that everyone thinks an owner should be bringing in for continuing education, the owner of that rental-based barbershop has to dig into his pocket to be able to pay for that educator. His money that he's making, because he's not making money from rent on anybody else. Who in their right mind is going to do that? Mm-hmm. What barbershop owner that is hearing from his barbers, I'm my own boss, I'm paying you rent, why am I going to go above and beyond for anybody else? If you're answering me like that under this that I built for you, right, I don't even want to dip into my money at this point to invest in your education if you ain't even respecting the joint. Right. So this is where it gets tricky. So now you're running into these barbershop owners that are all rental, are thinking this way, are sick of barbers and their own schedules and their own bad habits, and thinking they could do whatever the hell they want. And in their mind, those barbers that are doing all this wild shit, they're not even successful. They might be on Section 8, housing, food stamps. Yeah, they're getting cash money. They're not reporting taxes, so they're living super hood rich, but they're not leaving the hood. They're not going to be buying properties. Right. And they might be okay with that. Right. But see, that's a vicious circle that keeps everybody thinking like that in the barbershop. Because anyone who's there, even if you want to grow, you can't, because there's no one to turn to shine the light on the right direction. Yeah. And the owner at that point don't even want to deal with anybody, because everybody's bullshit, because it's that vibe that everyone's bringing into the shop with the rental shit, right? So then let's say you see this, you just got out of school, you went there, you have no clientele, you see you can't grow because there's no walk-ins, because there's no marketing, because the owner doesn't have and isn't going to pull money out of his pocket for marketing. Right. You're like, damn, the suites sound good because I could design my own shit, right? All right, cool. But to design my own shit, I just got out of school. Yeah. I'm okay at cutting hair. I need to sign a rent, a lease. I need to buy a barber chair. I need to buy equipment. I need to buy products. I need to pay for a booking system. I need to pay the rent. I need to make sure I have the rent 6 months out, because now you're the one that's producing all that. And then you also got to hope that there's walk-ins coming into the suite. Yeah. Then you got to hope there's walk-ins coming into the suite. Suites, I've never seen or heard of anyone blowing up off of walk-ins in a suite ever in my fucking life. Yeah. Bomb. So then you got the rental business aspect, then you got the suite business aspect. And mind you, after a while of you being in a suite, anything that's, think of a jail cell. When the person goes in there, the first little bit, he'll be all right. But then after a while, they start tweaking out. Yeah. Things, when they're too small, you start like, it's just not comfortable. It's not natural. You're not supposed to be. You're supposed to be with others. Yeah. You're supposed to be social. And why take that aspect from barbering when, if you just have a solid leader that's leading ethically, correctly, and
a platform where people make money. Why are you trying to take that away from the industry when guys love going to the barbershop? The barbershop was a place where you'd go in, you'd make connections, and you'd grow.
Yeah, right.
Where it was the common ground to discuss things and see someone else's view and analyze yours. And damn, is this correct? Maybe not. But you know what? We just made a friendship. Let's go do something down the line. Positivity, connections, human relations. Why are people thinking going into a room, you're going to grow more? You can't. Anything great, you need a team.
Yes.
You can't build a city with one person can't be the carpenter, the architect, the mayor, the cop, the bank. One person cannot do all this. So you need a team of people, and you need to understand that there's going to be specialists and bosses in different areas, in different departments. This is why corporations have different departments, different titles, and different positions, because some people are qualified because of passion and because of knowledge for certain things that I'm not qualified for. You know what I mean? And that's I could be the owner of this shit, but I can't fire my manager that does the accounting and does that, or treat him like shit, because without him, this shit's gonna fall apart. The people that are working here aren't gonna get paid. Products aren't gonna be on the shelf when they need to be.
Right.
And that's something I'm not a specialist in. So in order to build something where there's positions and you're able to get someone coming out of school and give them a pay that they can live off of, at least minimum wage. Think about, how can a barbershop owner under rent pay somebody per hour minimum wage to start while they gain experience and they make a decent living and can sacrifice minimally to endure the growth? Because that's the whole thing. You need to be able to financially endure the growth at a barbershop. So that's why per hour minimum starting off, minimum wage is good, because you don't have the skill sets yet, but you're going to have the barbershop owner that's going to be there helping you, guiding you, correcting your things, and also bringing outside education to make sure you sharpen yourself so you could get to that point where now you're not per hour, you could be on commission, and even on commission, still get to your 100 grand or more.
Yes.
You know, this is what's missing. What's missing is that barbers want to be bosses individually and skip the timeline. They want to be in point A and be successful in 2 days and have this bomb booming shit. This shit does not work in one day. This shit does not work in one day. And we need to understand that there's stepping stones to your success, and there needs to be key people that are gonna mentor you, and you need to be okay with criticism. And that's the other thing, right? It's hard to get constructive criticism from a hood dude that never understood how to talk to somebody or communicate and never went to college, school, or any type of or worked around people.
Yeah.
The way you speak to people, and especially people you're trying to mentor, the way you speak to them will either make them be better or it'll destroy them and make them close to everything you're saying.
Yeah.
So if you want to get to the point where you want to be a barbershop owner, you need to study communication. You need to study how to motivate different different age ranges, Gen Z versus Gen X.
Right.
My generation to get motivated is a completely different way. I'm like this. I'm in your face. This is what I need to get. I need him to be right here with the spittle hitting me, and I'm like this. You know, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, this motherfucker's right. Yeah. While a younger generation, you need to be almost like you're doing a puppy. Listen, brother, listen. You just need to do this. You're doing awesome. Yeah. Here, take this plaque. You deserve this because you're doing your all. Just keep going this way, and this is the way you'll go. So you understand what I'm saying? And if you acquire these different skills to be able to be successful, you'll be able to manipulate anything and get to where you need to get to in a successful way. The whole thing with Elevate is this. These are the voids that are missing. People think because they're going to go to a commission shop, they're not going to make a lot of money. That's bullshit.
That was my next.
I've proven it. I've proven it here. Under commission at 80% production rate, you're taking home 100 grand a year here, 5 days a week, working 9 to 5. And it's all because of the price points. They're high enough where commission works. I'm able to take from the commission to invest into education, into the atmosphere here being at a high level with complimentary IPAs, complimentary Coronas, however many they want, complimentary snacks, goldfish for the kids. I could do giveaways. I could invest extra money in marketing because there's money coming in because the plan was designed right. To retain barbers under rent aren't making 100,000 in a barbershop. And I'm here saying that under commission you can make 100 grand and you don't have to bust your ass. Matter of fact, we'll do the marketing for you. We'll promote you, and you don't have to do anything but come in 20 minutes early, put your barber jacket on, look sharp, and be skilled the hell up. Work 9 to 5. Within a year and a half, you're gonna be $100,000 barber. And if you want to make more, let's partner up. Let's open up more elevates and let's do this same process over and over again. Let's keep these franchises, elevate franchises within barbers so we could really make dough and really keep growing and scaling. So if your version of success is you don't want responsibilities of opening up a shop, looking over payroll, you just want to come in 9 to 5, clock out, have vacation, make your 100 grand. That's possible here. If you want to make a little more than 100 grand and you don't necessarily want to open a shop, but you're okay with closing up at the end of the night and collecting money, you got the manager position. Now we talk about rent and a little bit of commission from each chair that you're handling in that shop. So you could feel motivated to run this beautifully, and now you're making a little, see what commission gives the opportunity to give other people's opportunity. You see, like all the commission, as long as the owner does it right and redistributes the money into positions where it doesn't cap the success to the employees and the barbers in the establishment, it'll grow and it'll work. And this is what Elevate is.
You got me burning up inside to ask you some questions. So my first question was, I feel like after COVID, the whole format of our industry got corrected. So I'm starting to see a lot of now the inner city barbershops understanding what you just said and working towards that and building on that because it know it's more sustainable and it gives long latitude and longevity to the barbershop. And now you can capitalize on having, not worrying about if something happens like COVID again, that a lot of these shops won't get closed down. Because I felt like the format before for the barbershops where it's like, gimme, and whatever I do with the money is what I do with it. And when it came to COVID and once stuff started shutting down, it shut down a lot of barbershops that was in the inner city. Only things that I feel like was still sustainable and still moving forward was like Supercuts, Cuts Bar, whatever. All the ones that are franchise barbershops were sustainable, doing commission, understanding what, if you come here, this is what the payout's going to be. This is what you can sell on top of you making your money. We got products and all this other stuff to keep you elevating, keep you bringing in revenue. And I'm going to live and you going to live. My next thing on top of this, because, I want to ask your thoughts on that too. Why, as far as when we have these expos, that we don't have a full day of education where we can have barber owners like you talk about that? Talk about more of the educational side of the barber shop, of commission, how you can make money, all this other stuff. All we see is, not to take away from what you do, because I love what you do as far as, going there and talking about haircuts, talking about what the product is and stuff like that. But we selling the product. We're not selling the actual dream of this barber industry. We selling their product, but we're not speaking on the real educational part of leadership, ownership, education, all that. We just like, you can. This is how you do a fade. Put this clipper on. This is like. So I want to hear your opinion on that.
All right, big dog. So
we talking that shit, man.
yeah, this
That's
is
what I brought you
some
on here.
shit right here because it's something that it's in every industry, right? And it comes down to education, even college education. This happens in every single platform that has to do with education and helping people grow. People build things essentially, and they start for giving back, education, right? But once you start building up the hype behind a certain event or a certain expo, like I was telling you about being a well-rounded barber and making yourself shine. Once things start shining so bright, then you start getting hit up by companies that want to invest into being a part of your expo or your show or your education. And they're dropping 200 grand for their booth at your expo. And you originally started by dropping real education that's going to help. But it's like, damn, am I going to do that from barbershop owners that could probably only afford to give me $2,000 for that stage versus a corporate company that their MO is to mix barber and education with sales that will offer you 200 grand because 200 grand to them is worth it as marketing and a fucking write off at the same time. Like, it makes sense. Money changes these educational events. That's the reality. So these events, when they first start off, they're built by people that want to give gems, genuine gems to help people grow. But as this happens too, like, everything in the industry also starts wanting to be a part of it and wants to be in that limelight to get their end result, which is more sales, more views, more followers, more whatever. There's always an interest behind education for those purposes. Because when you think about education, that's the beginning of anyone. And if you infuse any brand or any idea that resonates in that person, it's going to resonate for the rest of their lives. And that's what they're going to use, whether it's a method, whether it's a brand, whether it's a cutting technique. They're going to use that shit for the rest of their lives because you caught them at the pivotal moment of their career when they're going from being a student to a working professional. Yeah. So then they use people that have big followings to use the brands, and hopefully you want to believe that the integrity of each influencer that's holding that clipper really uses it day to day and really does what he's telling you he does in that video, which most of the time isn't the case. Most of the time people are with brands because of the bread and because of the clout, and they're not even using that. Matter of fact, I know they're not. How many? If you walk into every barbershop, bro, whether it's an influencer or not, you see that station, there's like 10 different brands of clippers up there. You feel me?
Yeah.
And they know that, and the clipper company knows that. And this is why they pay educators and influencers to go on that stage and blow the socks off the audience. Damn, this is crazy. This is great. You feel me? So it's like, bro, but at the end of the day, it's good motivation. It's not bad. Like, this is a good thing, but I get what you're saying. This is why you're not going to hear me on the barber stage of any expo on the main day, because to be on that stage, it'll cost me $30,000. And again, no one is going to give an hour of that stage time for free when there's companies down their back trying to shove a $200,000 check to take that hour. So you got to look for independent barbers. Like right now, this is what I know too, right? This is why we're doing it. This is why I go to the schools. I do free. I'm not getting paid to go to these schools. It took me 4 hours to get there. I built a PowerPoint. I did a slideshow.
I invested 5 hours of my time for free. I'm not getting paid, and I don't want to get paid. And also, I'm doing one this Saturday here with one of my barbers. We're doing a free educational event for
I'm
the
sorry,
people in Connecticut.
I'm gonna ask you a question on this topic right here. So, as far as the education system that you go and you share your time with, what is more of the conversations that you're hearing out of the students that makes you say, okay, but this is not what you're here for. Stop saying that and look at this point of why you here and use that as your motivation as soon as you get outside, that this is going to help you catapult and be where you need it as a hairstylist and a barber. What is those words that you be like, man, I'm tired. Every time I go to these schools, that I'm hearing the same question over and over again.
Well, it's trying to speed through everything, bro. Like they want to get there faster. They want to get there, and blow up like instantly straight out of school. You can't be in a rush. You can't be in a rush because when you're in a rush, you skip things because you need to cut corners. When you're rushing, when you're in a rush to go get to work because you left early, you're going on the emergency lane, you're cutting people off, you're cutting corners. And if a cop catches you, now you're really behind to work for cutting corners. And if he does catch you, now you're super late instead of if you would have left home late, went, the speed limit, respected everything, you would have gotten there 5 minutes late. Now trying to cut corners, you got pulled over. The cop's going to come to you. It takes 20, 30 minutes for him to take your information. Now you're an hour late to work, and you're not. Now your boss is ready to fire you because instead of 5 minutes, you just made a dumbass decision and cutting corners. Now you're an hour late. Now your whole future's screwed.
Yeah.
So this is the whole thing, and you know what, bro? Like it sucks because, bro, I want to tell people that it's a skill, it's an art, and this is something that changes with every client. You can know how to do a fade, but the way you do the fade is going to change depending on the texture and the shape of their head. So it's like you need to touch so many friggin' heads for you to basically damn near have touched and did every single misshapen head in the world and perfected it to be the best.
Yes.
That takes time. That's the main thing. Don't rush. Don't rush. Like you know where you are. You know where you are in your career. Don't let your ego not ask for help. Don't let your ego get in the way. Like if it's okay to know your potential and know your worth, but in order to get to your true potential, you got to get help. And if you don't ask, which is lowering your ego and let someone know that can potentially help, yo, listen, man, I'm good at this, but I suck at this. Can you help me get there? And then also understand that it costs. You're not going to own your own shit right now.
Right.
As soon as you, not right now, not within 5 years.
Yeah.
Some other person might have done it, but they might have been on a different wave. They might have had super mentorship from the background that you don't even know of.
Correct.
But anyone who succeeds and continues to succeed, it takes time and there's steps and there's a method, and that method needs to be done day after day after day, like marketing. There's a reason why McDonald's don't stop putting their McDonald's sign on billboards all over the highway and on Pandora and all that. Everyone knows there's a McDonald's everywhere.
Right.
But they want to make sure when you think of food, you think of McDonald's because they're very aware. There's Wendy's, Popeyes, Chick-fil-A. There's all these other ones that if they see it, if you catch something else that isn't McDonald's when you just got the sensation you were hungry, you're going to go to whatever you just saw. So they need to be omnipresent. They need to be everywhere. So wherever you look, you're like, damn, I'm hungry. Oh, McDonald's. I saw it right there, and it's right off the highway. Let's go.
I don't want to hold too much of your time. I got a couple more questions, and I'm going to let you go. But this is truly amazing, man. I'm glad that you took time out to jump on here with me and share your truth. One of my questions is, as far as the industry, is you know, you spoke on this earlier, and you were saying like understanding, your family time, your space. How do you deal with the mental part of everything that you have going on and every aspect of like business, projects that you're putting on, shows that you're working on, school and stuff, and then being at the shop, and then got to go home and make sure that you relieve all that because you got to walk in the house, and now you got to be. I believe you're a husband, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
married, 2 kids.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then you got to be a father. You got to be a husband. So on top of all this, how do you mentally, deal with everything so you don't burn out?
So that's dope, bro, because I was going before this. I was going crazy in my suite, working 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, then traveling for the companies. And I was able to manage it because I wasn't traveling every weekend. I'd work the 5 days a week, those 12-hour days, but every other weekend I'd be traveling. So I'd be able to spend the 2 days at home with the family, not worry about marketing because I marketed myself, not worried about overhead because I was paying rent. Anything that went wrong there, plumbing, electrical, lights, whatever, I made a call. I didn't have to worry about that
Yeah.
shit. I thought that I would be able to continue that same rhythm and add. I thought that opening up a shop didn't require more energy for some reason.
Right.
I don't know why I thought that I was going to be able to continue doing what I was doing at the suite and add this on.
Yeah.
I was under the impression, and this is the thing, I talked to a lot of other barbershop owners that have, and this is where I didn't make the connection. And this is where like it was awesome because it fell on me without understanding it. I was cutting a couple of franchise owners that owned these places and were under commission. They didn't cut hair. They were an artist.
Right.
They were investors. Of course they had the time to them. Oh, this is, yeah, you can do it, Victor. You actually, you can do it better because you're an educator, you do hair, so you'll be able to pick better people. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that's right. And I forgot that required time too. You know what I mean? So, bang, I'm here. I bring my same workload to opening up the shop, to hiring different barbers, to taking pictures, videos, thinking about marketing, thinking about how to push this more, planning on developing more the brand, a hat line, a clothing line,
Right.
making sure everyone's happy.
Yeah.
And a year in, like a month in, bro, I crashed.
Yeah.
Like I had a mental crash, a physical crash. Everywhere I was looking, bro, it was like no one was happy.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy. My wife wasn't happy. I didn't understand the what the guys were thinking here, and I was like, yo, I don't even have the energy to even really think about this anymore, bro.
Correct.
And then I started thinking, I'm like, bro, like I'm sleeping 4 hours a day because I'm working till like 3, 4 in the morning trying to balance all this shit. I'm trying to still say yes to all my clients and fit people in before and after my 12-hour day already. So I was working 14 hours plus handling everything else. And I was like, bro, why does it no exist in your vocabulary?
Right.
Why does it no? And why isn't there any, like, bro, you're at a point where you're fully booked out for 4 months. You're not in a financial position that you need to be working at the level you're working in. You're just being very, very unreal to yourself physically.
Yeah. I
I was in prison and I have urgency, but I also got to stick to the timeline, right? The timeline we're talking about. Like I'm doing everything correctly, but I'm sacrificing essential things in life to be able to get to where I want to get to. You know what I mean? I'm sacrificing what I like to do, which was going out to the club, dancing. And at the end of the day, that didn't give me anything, so that was okay to let go. But now I'm sacrificing family time, me time, gym time, my mental peaceful time because
I don't have balance and because I'm too ambitious and I need this to grow quicker than later.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, chill the fuck out, dog. You're doing good. Make time for you. Say no to clients, even though, yes, they might go somewhere else. You did the best you could. You designed a place where you train people that if you're not available, the clients could go to them. And if they don't and they want to go somewhere else, it's okay to lose a client or two.
Yeah.
Because $40 extra on top of what I know I'm going to make isn't going to make a difference and is definitely not going to make my wife happier when I go home tired as hell and can't communicate and interact with her and with my kids. I think she'd rather me not make as much money and me give her more time, and my kids too. And I think right now where I'm at, like, I need more peace to be able to clearly think and guide my life and everyone else's that's here as stress-free as possible, and to be able to elevate and keep growing. You see, like, I'm still learning, I'm still modifying, and I'm still understanding, and the method works, and it's going to continue to shape and change and until it fits and it works and everyone keeps doing the same thing and everyone's happy. I just know I'm the first one that has to do this, so I put a little more pressure on myself. But the balance and understanding the timeline, I don't need a rush anymore.
Yeah.
Now things are more delicate. Now I can focus, and this is the dope thing, bro. Like, the rate I was going, I couldn't do this shit on my own. My wife is my partner in everything, bro. Like, everything.
Yeah.
I planned everything with her. I designed everything with her. She's here with me from the moment I open these doors to the moment I close. She does the marketing. She listens to the ideas and reproduces it. And she has her photography studio here. We're right now in the space where her photography studio is.
See the light in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, the backdrop is right here. You know, all the backdrop, all the cameras, and stuff. So, you know, without her and my mom's support too, this wouldn't have been possible. And now, luckily, I realized where I was, and that's the whole thing. Things are gonna come as you grow.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get hit because it's new. Anything you do for the first time to grow yourself as a person and financially, it's new. It has to be new because the term insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting the same result. So if you want to change your future, whether it's for better or for worse, you got to do something different, and that's going to be a learning curve. And you're going to have to analyze the results of that different thing that you did and see how you can modify it so it fits. It's just modifying to make it fit. That's all. As long as you analyze, and this is what the military does. This is why Navy SEALs for the United States are so friggin' powerful, and they always conquer. You never hear them messing up a mission. They analyze, adapt, and execute. Yeah. As long as you have that in your brain, you're golden. It might take a little bit more than the last problem, but you'll definitely analyze it, adapt it, and then you'll execute the new plan to conquer that roadblock.
Man, I'm gonna let you go, man. This was dope. I'm truly glad that I was able to reach out to you, and you said you was willing to jump aboard. You delivered, you conquered, you talked that shit. I just want to say thank you, man, for taking time out to be with me today and share so much. A lot of people tuned in. I saw a lot of thumbs up. I saw a lot of 100%. And one thing for you, like, what is it that you want to share before we get off? To all the upcoming barbers, even barbers that have been around that maybe are trying to figure it out and trying to shift a lot of things that's going on within their shop and trying to take it to the next level. What is it that you feel like you can share with them?
So, guys, if you're trying to grow, coming out of school, or if you're in a shop where you feel like you can't grow, don't think a commission shop is bad. Think about commission as a union, where the union leader is going to make sure everyone's protected and everyone's making money.
if the barbershop owner has everyone's best interest in mind. Commission is going to give you the visibility and this is why when you guys go out to explore new barbershops and see where you're going to work, remember, you're worth the best. Don't settle for anything just because your skill levels aren't high. Aim for the stars. Try to go to the best barbershop or salon that you know has a name. If they have a name, it's because they're putting effort into the team and into the establishment.
Facts.
Go for those places because if they're putting effort into the establishment, in the team, there's growth there. They're going to invest in people and in tools that are going to help you be better at what you do. Starting off, and people that come into the barbering industry, normally they're not coming from money. They're not coming from a lot of educational, financial backgrounds. So knowing who the owner of that shop is and how he's moving and where he's going in terms of his financials, he's not going to share with you how much he's making, but if you know the dude is trying to open up more shops and he wants to open and he owns multifamilies and he's making other moves with his finances, that's the person you need to be under and get mentorship from, right? Because again, being behind the chair is dope, constantly at a high level for about 10, 15 years. After that, you kind of want to chill out a little bit. And if you didn't know how to manage your money from the beginning of those 15 to the end of those 15, you're not going to have anything to fall back on and enjoy choosing your hours behind the chair while you have 3 multifamilies that you bought in those 15 years that are allowing you to live for free. You see, like, we got to think about everything. Like, we start making $100,000 a year and then we're out here buying new cars, getting loans, maxing out the credit cards, but you can't make $100,000 at that level all your life unless you have things that are going to give you residual income, like property, multifamilies. So if you live a decent, modest life and you save a good amount, you invest in 4 multifamily, let's say you invest in 4 3-family houses in the 15 years that you're at your prime, that you're willing to give 12 hours a day. By the time you're not willing to give 12 hours a day, you got 4 multifamilies that are paying where you currently live and you're profiting maybe $1,000, $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
Now you could choose to work 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., 5 days a week, not kill yourself because you make what you need to make, and then you have other income from your multifamilies that supplement in that. So now you could chill. Now you know if you make $4,000 a month at the shop, working 2 to 10, and you have another $3,000 coming in from the 4 properties on top of living for free. Think about it. You have $5,000 that isn't going to a mortgage payment, to taxes. All it's going to is your cell phone, your savings, and the type of car that you want, and your food and your clothes. You got $5,000 a month to do whatever you want because your living expenses are covered. You got equity building up in those properties, and you're doing work not because you have to make those $100,000 to live, but because you want to work and make what you want to make, to have your weekends off, wake up late, and leave work early.
Let me ask you this for myself. This is a question from me. I'm a barber that came in the game a little bit later in life. I used to work in the corporate world for 11 years, shifted, and then came into the barber industry. I'm 40 now. I worked at 2 barbershops. The one I'm at now, kind of the same questions I was giving you as far as like the ratio of like what they value and what I value is totally different. You're too far apart. But I love the environment. I definitely could capitalize very well in the area where I'm in. But as far as the value of the shop, it's not where I would like it to be. I have a family. I'm not no kids yet, but I'm married. But I see my trajectory in my career to be at a certain point. at a certain time. What advice would you give me to like um, start looking at certain things that I could do to like really push myself in my career to the next level?
So, are you doing rent or commission?
Rent.
You're doing rent. Okay. Are you fully booked?
Um, I wouldn't say it fully out the day, but it fluctuate throughout the week. So I can say right now, to give you honest, like within the month of me paying my rent and me bringing in, say after everything that I bring in a little bit under, let's say 28,
A week?
for the month,
28,000 or
2,800.
2,800 for the
Yeah.
month. Okay, for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is where it's the price. How much are you charging for your haircuts?
It starts at 45, but then depending on what they want, it goes up a little bit more, maybe $10 more or whatever.
All right. So this is the barbershop booming with walk-ins?
No walk-ins. I do all the marketing, I do all the advertising.
You gotta go somewhere else. It's unfortunate. You might have built a relationship there, a friendship, but if you're not growing, and you can't assume the responsibility of the owner. And this is the problem with going to a rental space. No one's going to market for you. You got to market yourself. And if the barber isn't booming enough and outshining everybody else, people aren't flocking to go there.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say if he's not booming and shining enough, he's not going to drop money on the marketing, on the money to market the shop, and the energy to try to get the reviews and the keywords for people. When they search barbershops in your area, they find the barbershop.
Right.
So either you have to go ham creating your own content to attract clients, figure out Google and Facebook ads, which you could do, right? Because I did it.
Yeah.
This is how I went to a suite, and I say suites are career killers because you're in there by yourself. You want to make as much money, but you have no team to help you market and help you do things. The more money you make requires more time, which equals less time to make marketing content and content in general. So either you make your own content, book yourself out to attract clients, or you're going to have to go to a place that's going to help you build your clientele.
Correct.
But the commission has to be right, and the price points have to be correct for you to be able to make what you need to make to support your family.
Correct.
You know? So this is why it's beautiful, bro. Like what I'm creating, this is something that this is what's needed. A lot, bro. I know for a fact people in rental barbershops, they scream, "Oh, I run my own shit," but how much money you making? I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about how much money you really making though. You bossed up. How are your finances? How are you living? Like for real, like you're showing me your nice little barber station full of clippers and shit, but let's see everything else.
Yeah.
You know? Versus going to a place that's established, that has the marketing down month to month, and is taking a commission and is helping you make $100,000 a year. Barbers under rent aren't making $100,000 a year, and they're their own bosses.
Correct.
Because it's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy this is a business. It's not just art. You know what I mean? If you're taking 2 hours and you're giving the best haircuts, you're not profitable unless you're charging $300 for a haircut.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're renting, this is the problem. There is no business background behind barbering. When you open up a spot, let's say, all right, I got Belmonts in my shop, 7 of them. I bought the highest end ones, $6,000 each freaking chair.
Yeah.
The person that advised me When I started talking about open, he's like, bro, do not spend that on barber chairs. Your barbers aren't going to respect that chair, and the clients don't give a fuck either. Within a year, that's going to have holes in it.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I want the best for the shop. I went and bought them. They do the same thing as the other chair, right? But I didn't listen, and I would have saved myself a ton of money and a ton of emotion, right? Luckily, I'm a good barbershop owner, and I want to invest in the best for my guys. So any commission that I make, I reinvest into this to make sure we stay relevant and we stay top of the line.
Yes.
That's what people need to look for in a barbershop owner, is that how is he handling himself, and what is he doing for his barbers? Are his barbers growing? Are they living a decent life? Because that's the whole thing. Barbers are coming into this game without financial education. No one has financial education.
Yes. No.
Even people that go to college don't have it.
Yeah.
But this is more urgent to have it in this, because if you don't know taxes and you end up working your first 3 years and don't pay taxes, 3 years in, you owe $40,000 plus all the debt you acquired by taking out loans and this, and that, because you thought that you could handle that. Now you're royally fucked. Now you're not even motivated to stay in this industry because you know you can't handle it. You need to go, fill out an application, and hope that they're going to pay you more than minimum wage.
Yes.
When you have an owner that's invested in your future and making sure you understand what could happen if you don't take care of your taxes, because it's not convenient for me, for my guys to be stressing about their taxes, being backed up, and not having good credit. It's not convenient for me, because then they're going to walk in here in the morning thinking about their fucked up credit, thinking about their foreclosure notice or their repo notice for their car. And now, even though they were a savage barber, they can't have the clarity to plan a haircut because they're stressing about that money situation.
Correct.
And then if I want to open up, and let's say skill-wise, he's ready to open up a shop and he's mature enough, you're not with finances and you're not with your credit, meaning you're not responsible, meaning I can't even fuck with you. You see what I mean? So it's like you need that type of barbershop owner where he's interested in all this, because if he wants to grow, everyone in there needs to grow too. And if they're not growing, either they need to go or they need to remove themselves. And that's the beautiful thing that's been happening, is like everyone that comes, bro, they want to grow and they're singing and they understand. And this is what barbers need. If you understand the math and you understand what responsibilities you're going to assume by going into a rental-based barbershop, the pros and cons of that,